Workers' rights and human rights.
And it's that.
Audio Jungle.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Morning. My name is Sheldon Khan from the Progressive Empowerment Party. We're in Egypt Village, Point Fortin this morning. So over the weekend, the members of this community, Egypt Village, which is standing here, right now we're opposite James Park. Right? They've been in the media recently. Media has been touting or reporting that there's an outbreak of dengue in this area, due to the fact that they have 3 dams in this area. One to my right, there's another one on that street there, where those houses are. There's another one in Rowley Ranch. Now about a year ago, we had come here during the local government election. We tried to cover that story at that point in time. That was during the dry season. So you would see that there are drains like this one which I'm standing next to right here. So even in the dry season, these drains has a constant flow of water. And when we were doing our walkabout, what the residents in Egypt Village told us, they would have also said that they would have spoken to their councillor and he would have tried to get the issue resolved through contractors. There's also a water substation at the top of that incline there. So the point that the residents are making is that that bank you see there behind James Park, that is the dam. Bank is probably some 15 feet high, and the water table from the tip of the dam to the water is probably about 2 feet. So right now where we're standing, given the height of that dam, what the residents are saying is that this area here is actually below the water table of that dam there. And what they're complaining about is that this constant flow of water is from that dam. That is why this area is always swampy. In the rainy season, there's some children, there's a coach that teaches children how to run in this area. Right, so he normally uses this piece of roadway around the savannah. But they can't train during rainy season, because during rainy season, because there's a constant flow of water and with rain falling, the whole area swarms up. In the dry season, they're able to run because the savannah is dry. And they're saying that the reason why the area is so saturated with water because the dam is leaking. As I say again, if you come here during the dry season, this constant flow of water that you see right now is present during the dry season. That is the concern of residents. And on the dam road side, or have also been complaining again during the dry season that water comes up under their houses. Those are people who live lower down, closer to the main road. Again, they're citing that the reason why the water is coming up from under their house is because the dam is leaking and the dam is higher than where they are living. So the water is finding a way and it's coming out. So people in that area complain about mosquitoes right through here. As I said, we would have tried to highlight this matter last year during the local government election when we would have been walking around in the area. People would have complained to us about the amount of mosquitoes in the area. They would would have come and sprayed. But again, what we're trying to say is because the dam is leaking, the area is always saturated with water. And this weekend, a lot of the same residents called me again. Up to this morning, you know, they call, they call and they meet you and they say, "Can, what you know, we reach out to the MP, we reach out to the councillor." So, as I said again, we are not trying to attack the council. What we're trying to do is we're trying to give a different voice to the same problem. I remember the ex-mayor, Clyde Paul, he came on the chat, you know, and what he was saying is that probably when Petrotrin built those 3 dams, again, you have one dam here, which passes in the middle, everybody knows about. But there's also another dam. If you go up that short street there to the end of that street, behind those mango trees there, there's another dam, right? And then if you go around the corner, to people familiar with Point, if you go around the corner and you meet Ravine Ranch, and you go straight up, instead of you take right to go into the village, there's a dam up inside it. But inside Ravine Ranch, people have been complaining all the time. But we are going to try to highlight this area because election is coming up. Government wants to solve problems. We want our problem in Point solved. We know for a fact that people see us as a backward little village that doesn't need attention and everybody else. But as I say again, the media, the Ministry of Health has put it out that there's a dengue outbreak, and Point Fortin right now has the most amount of reported cases. Based on that, people are calling us and saying, "Yes, see what's going on in Point? Why you're not highlighting it?" So I'm doing my due diligence, I'm not highlighting it. We will be coming to other areas. We will be doing interviews with people in the Ravine Ranch area, in the Dam Road area. We will come an afternoon. My son was in that running class there. And I am telling you, I used to sit in that pavilion there. When I see it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6:30, you're spraying the mosquito things. And them things, what's that mosquito? The mosquito landing on top of it. I tell you how much mosquito it have here. My hat and my heart goes out to the human service of that coach who comes here on a daily basis to train those children free of charge. Free of charge, he does that. You know, I've seen where when it's time to buy uniforms and that kind of things for the kids, he goes out and asks for charity, takes out money from his own pocket. And these are the kind of individuals, I mean, they're not familiar with camera, me, but you know, these are the kind of individuals that when you get a chance, you must highlight good things that they're doing. But we will be having an interview with him to tell us. When I spoke with him, he told me there's a drain behind the bank. There's a drain between the savanna there and the bank of the dam. That drain is always filled with water. So as I say again, when you're sitting, when myself and parents sitting in that pavilion on an afternoon, when it's place that a girl does that, them mosquito in them just come out like bandits. They're very brave around here and they're very big. They'll attack you. We will be going into that dam, that Ravine Ranch again to get some review, and we will be trying to speak with the councillor for the area, who I understand is also the deputy mayor, who are residents in the Dam Road area. Tell me that he did come, he did speak with him. We will be trying to get with him to find out how far he was able to highlight the problem, or how far he was able to tackle the problem, or what is the feedback he have gotten from the government thus far in addressing the area. But they did tell me that he did try on many occasions to try the problem, have it resolved. He did bring WASA to investigate why even the dry sand. We will show you. Yes, we will show you areas in that area, areas around there where residents have shown us that water comes up in their foundation. It's dry in the middle of dry season and water running in your yard, free like that river there. So we will go there and show you, right? We will have those interviews and we will try to get this matter resolved. All right? Yes. So as I said again, my name is Sheldon Khan from the Progressive Empowerment Party for this area, Point Fortin. This is the Workers' Right Track, right? My friend Renison Jeffrey runs this program. We will be highlighting this program on the ground report, on the corridor of transformation, and all the social media networks in conjunction to have this problem for Point Fortin highlighted for citizens, community of Point Fortin. So, from Workers' Right Chat again, thank you and God bless. You see this drain here, all of that water, even if it's dry season. So morning again, morning. As I say again, this is that bank you see in there, that is the bank of the dam. Right? This is the drain. What you see is not a drain anymore. It's overgrown and unclean. Right? But this is the piece of water that the coach of the running team for this area has been complaining about. What he's saying is that this, even when it's dry season, there's always a presence of water here. And because there's always a presence of water here, it leads to a lot of mosquitoes in this area on an afternoon. Right? And you know, mosquitoes could fly, so they ain't gonna stay right around here and have good people to suck across there or give them dengue too. So normally on an afternoon when I bring my son around here, we sit in a pavilion there, right? And I would come with my mosquito spray and share it with the other parents. Of course, you know, the children, if they sweat it, they can't spray them. See, look, you see how all the drain here is filled with water? That's what we're talking about. So even as I said, during the dry season, there's always a presence of water in the city. And the residents are complaining it's because the dam is leaking. Right? Residents are complaining about that. So that's what we're trying to highlight. Because as we understand, the councillor for the area has been trying to highlight it. And he hasn't seemed to be getting the kind of attention that he. So we're trying to, as residents, try and highlight the matter as well. Going up these stairs here to show you the height of the dam as opposed to the houses in the area. Right? So right now we are on top of the pavilion. And that is the dam there. So if you see what we're talking about, you have that body of water. So between this bank here and those houses there is a body of water. Hasn't been cleaned properly in a while, but all of that is water. And that height there, so what the residents are complaining is that the water is, I'm a little short breath, out of breath. I'll take my blue stairs, and that's as fit as my son. So, the water seems to be seeping out and ending up in that flatland area there. Right? There are some drains around the savannah that are always filled with water, as the residents have said. But they believe that the water is seeping up from the dam and ending up in the area of the bushes around. So this area is always green, always green. Green with water, green with mosquitoes. Right? But it has come to a peak because of the dengue issue, as I said. The national media has reported that Point Fortin has reported the highest number of dengue persons in the country. Residents in turn have called us to try and highlight the matter to see the authorities can do something about it, because they say the MP or the councillor have been trying and they have not been getting the kind of results that, of course, when people getting sick. So we are here this morning as members of the community, as concerned members, as people who have a phone and people calling in and trying to get the problem sick. We are here this morning as well to try and get the issue resolved. And that's what we're going to be doing in a series of events. We'll visit all those persons concerned to get their views, to see if we can try and get this situation highlighted. Thank you very much. Morning. Hey! You know, for right now, the report that he hired someone that then they cases at some point. But even last year, when we were here, people was complaining.
Yeah, man.
Especially down more
Yeah.
that water. What people saying that the dam leaking. So they say even in dry season, them draining them out the road, there's always our water running. So they suspect that the dam leaking. About overflow? Come on, show me now.
You want to see it? I don't mind that if it. Hey.
Right.
And you're looking at that kind of water.
Big man, what's your name, boy? What's your name? Kian. Kian, how long you living down here?
11 years back at it.
Right.
So what happened this morning as I said, this resident here is going to show us the overflow. When
I didn't talk about that overflow, you know.
When the dam is when they for the dam not to burst its bank, there is a overflow so that the excess water could flow out into the into the drain. All right. So this is where the water coming from.
Yes, that is.
There's the overflow here.
Right.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
you got them with it.
Right.
Have a concrete foundation inside.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So you pass it to that water and go there?
Yeah, and go to my house right there. But it's slippery, eh? Gotta be careful.
Right. So morning again, folks. So this morning we're here with one of the residents, and
Be careful, you know.
so this morning we're here with one of the residents, and he brought us to show us why you always have water in the drain. Right? So the reason I've been seeing is the dam is, there's a mechanism for the dam not to burst its bank. This is called an overflow. So the excess water flows out from this area into the drain and would end up lower down where we were talking about it. But if you realize what's going on here, see what's going on? So that water there, as you could see, not ending up in the drain and not in the topography. All this right there, what you're watching here. See what we're talking about? This water here now. This is the water we're talking about that ended up under people's houses. Because with this water here now ending up in the groundwater. You see what if you watch a little lower down there, you'll see where the drain break down there. So that water there, along with these cracks here, this is the water that's not ending up in the drain. This water here has ended up in these cracks. That is ending up in the grassland around. And that is why, because the place is always wet. You understand? So anytime you have a heavy wind, the water, nothing is because if this thing was working as it's supposed to, I supposed to be standing in water here as it is. But as it is, a significant amount of the water is ending up in the ground and in the surrounding areas, and the mosquitoes, well, you know, you can't blame them for that, they come into live. But the only problem we have is that the residents getting dengue. As I say again, we will be reaching out to the councillor from the area, the MP from the area, and the mayor, because we do understand this problem has been taking place, as you can see, for a number of years. Residents have said that they have come and taken pictures with authorities, so we will try to find out from them how far they have reached in getting this issue solved. This would be a series of interviews, as I said, to try and get this problem fixed once and for all, because right now, as I said, Point Fortin is being reported as having the largest amount of dengue cases in the area. So people have heard that news and are calling, as well as the residents in the afternoon. This gentleman can testify to that 5:30, 6 o'clock. Trust me, if you don't want to be outside, you ain't coming outside. That's how terrible it is. Them mosquito and them have a curfew around here. Around in Egypt village, Point Fortin, it have mosquito curfew. Right? Around them an hour, get inside. Otherwise, them mosquito coming to rob you. Right?
Big man, so how it does treat with the mosquito? I hear develop a mechanism and how it does deal with.
I haven't used it yet.
You use it yet?
Yeah.
So
How it does deal with?
We have a net.
Oh, you have a net?
We have a young child,
Alright.
5 years. So that's real terrible in my case.
Real terrible.
Yeah, but no side.
Right.
That's real terrible.
Yeah, but that's what we're getting. A lot of
Yeah,
people.
but we could not imagine this thing, because die by the savannah and things so wet.
Yeah,
Die by that drain and things so wet.
This water going straight out to the sea, you know.
Right. Yeah.
The trains and them going.
Yeah, but not only that. When the tide is high, I'm glad my friend and my neighbor and my brother mentioned that point, because I almost forgot that point there. You see why there's strength in numbers, as I always say that. Because a resident living lower down to the main road, what he had pointed out to me, a fisherman, he said that when tide high, as my friend here said, that this water goes straight out to the sea. When tide is high, what happens is the water backs up along the main road. So that is why from Egypt, by the village, by the sporting facility,
Yeah, by the arena.
straight down to by Namalco there. You understand? If you get a heavy shower and tide is high, that whole entire area floods out. Because this water here can't get to God because the tide is high and it comes back now, and then some people's houses even end up underwater. But the most important part is that this has been happening for years, right? So we don't even, what we're trying to find out if this problem needs a fresh face in addressing the issue. And that is what we are here this morning to try and do. Okay? All right. Yeah, this needs fixing. Yeah, this needs fixing. Because see, when that water ends up in the ground, it will always be wet. You understand?
And it's going into the water table.
Yeah.
And then it has smaller contributaries now when it's join up with this when rain falls.
Yeah.
This is a massive volume of water that can be controlled.
Yeah, that is why our dumps are always wet. Yeah, yeah. I want to know where all our water coming from. So now we figure it out.
And the volume of water going on.
Eh.
Drains and them so narrow.
Yeah.
They can't hold you to the volume.
Right. You're here.
Yeah, how the man saying it.
Yeah, what my brother said there?
It now,
The drains and them is so small. And the volume of water that goes down there. Cannot hold
Right, so
water.
that's why the savannah is flooded out.
Yes, that's why.
Yes, I really remember that. Coming to that savannah with my son and seeing the half of the savannah, 3/4 of the sun flooded out. So because the amount of, look at the size of this overflow here. And the drains down there are about 2 feet by about 4 feet.
this is a massive project here that requires a couple of millions. And I feel the lives of the people in Point Fortin would more than the millions.
Yes, it
So,
can.
if the government could put out the millions to fix this could fix
Yes,
man this.
it can't be. It can't be that Point Fortin is the last borough in Point and always the last to get help. It can't be that way. Point people, We fed up of that kind of treatment. You know, we fed up of that kind of treatment. You know, and that's why we're here this morning to lend some assistance to this problem in highlighting it. That's why we're here this morning. And we'll be doing other interviews with other people as well, so that they may be able to better understand the extent of the problem and what people, as my brother just said, he have a 5-year-old son. You know, my son, when he was 5 years old, I don't even want his son to shine him in. First I love him. You understand?
Yeah.
Well, must set for a battalion or an army of a soldier of mosquitoes.
A dark few people on that lockdown on the side.
And having mosquitoes imposing curfew on people down here in Point Fortin. And look where it reached. It reached to now. That,
All up on that side.
right,
You people need to get in behind.
right,
That damn going shit is on there.
right.
Right. Well, let's see we now coming out from the spot. We had a
I gotta wash my foot before I go in the car. I don't like to keep my car clean.
you like to keep your car clean.
Yeah, but you know, when my neighbors come, I put them.
Yeah, put the neighbors first.
Yeah, put my neighbors.
And people, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. The reason why your hair wasn't seen, man, I had also take a little hiatus. I would have contracted the dengue virus.
My good friend and brother.
And my son too. So after he gotten it, it was like a day after I get it. And after seeing about him, I don't want to see about myself. It was a serious thing. The dengue virus is a very serious thing. You see headache, fever, diarrhea, vomiting. You understand? You just get a whole scenario, and then you know what has happened? You have to lie down for about 7 days to recover. Any reason why I wasn't seeing me, so we had was to investigate this thing to the full and show and seeing that we get to the bottom line.
Yeah. So as I say again, right now we at the lower level, which is the housing level, right? But where the water is overflowing and getting into the land is on the top of that hill behind us there. So that is why this area here is always wet, irregardless. You see what I'm talking about? See, there's always a presence of tall grasses because there's a lot of water. The place is always saturated, and this morning we found out why. As I said, we'll be trying to meet with the representatives from this area to get a better understanding of how or what we could do to try and highlight this and get this control. Because we can't point to something like this, you know? We can't point to something like this. You understand? Yes, we is the last borough in the country, but we want to be the first that we care about. So this is what we're trying to explain to you folks who are not familiar with the area. That area there, that's what you call Lakeview, Point Fortin. Right? What we were trying to, this is a piece of commentary for people who are not from the area, but who empathize with their brothers who are from Point Fortin and understand that people in Point Fortin getting dengue and they're concerned, or people are concerned in general. So, as you see, they're trying to clean the lilies in the dam. But what we would have just shown you there, there's a bigger problem, and that bigger problem is the water coming out from the dam that's supposed to end up in a drain, but ending up, because the drain is broken, ending up in the topsoil or ending up under the drain, and then ending up under people's houses who are living lower down from this bank, right? And the reason why we came here is to show you the amount of houses around the dam. So all the water, right, from this area going straight around. There's a whole housing development it, right? Make use a whole housing development. So all the water, drain water from that housing development, as well as the houses to the top. Yeah, that's one road. And if you go all the way around, after that you have New Village. And then after that you have the village of Egypt itself. All the houses that are close to that area, all that drain water ends up in the dam. So the dam is always full because people always washing their clothes, washing their cars. You understand? They're always doing washing their wares. All that water, apart from water on a daily basis, when rainfall, all that water ends up in the dam because the dam is lower than all those houses around there. And then that water now tries to exit through the overflow that we would have shown you behind the savannah, behind the pavilion in that area where you have that water trying to exit there. But the problem is the infrastructure is not, the infrastructure that where the water is trying to come out, that drain there is now cracked. So instead of the water ending up in the drain, the water is going under the drain and ending up in the lower areas where people are there. And now ending up in their homes, coming up in their backyard, coming up under their homes, raising tiles and that kind of thing. That's why you always have that drain that running for people who are familiar with this area. Right? That drain running along Egypt Road. That's why the elderly people in particular, right? Bongojo and those kind of guys. That's why they're complaining to me that drain is always full of water and something is wrong. For years now, people living lower down road here, closer to the road. They themselves have been complaining that something is wrong. It can't be that dry season, water in the drain like that. But this morning, we found the problem, right? So we're going to be trying to reach out to the relevant authorities because the residents have also told me that they have been complaining for a number of years. So he's aware of it. He has been trying to find the problem, so we're going to find out from him how far or how much he was able in getting this issue addressed or find out what is the problem. As again, we'll be having further discussions on this matter with folks at different areas who are also concerned as well. Right, so morning folks. This morning we're in Dam Road, Egypt Village, Point Fortin. And we're here because the residents and the nation have been complaining that there's an outbreak of dengue in this area. Right? And what the residents have been complaining about is that the dam, which is to the top of that hill there, right? These residents here, they live closer to the main road, Point Fortin. But behind those houses there, up that incline there, is the Egypt Village Dam. Right? And what they complain is that the longer time that the dam has been built, it's not being properly maintained. And the water from the dam is seeping into the topography of this area. This morning, whilst doing a video by the dam, a resident would have called us and show us where the overflow from the dam is not ending up in the drains because the drains are supposed to be taking the water out of the dam is broken, so the water is ending up in the soil in this area here and other areas around this Egypt. So that's why the area is always wet. There's always mosquitoes, whether it's dry season, whether it's wet season. There's always a presence of snakes and that kind of thing. And we just brought you here to show you some of the problems. For example, that lady there, she runs a school, right? She gets flooded out constantly. That drain that we want to show you there, that's because that guy across the road, if you realize, he would have raised his property again because of that same water coming. If you watch here, you would see, right, there's a drain of some sort that is filled, so the water is ending up in the road. Right, again, what the residents are saying is because of the dam at the top of the hill, if you watch here, you watch there, see, that's what the residents talking about. That volume of water there is constant year round. And we would have shown you from you see the water is coming up. You realize that the water is coming up. And that is right, the water is coming up. And that's what the residents are complaining about. Right? Of course we would have shown you where the water is coming from, because if the water is at the top of the hill and it's not getting to get into the drain, of course it's going to end up in the lower area. So that's why we brought you to the lower area to show you that year round there's a constant flow of water through people's property. See, this is what we're talking about there. The drains are coming right through the year. The water runs there. These drains are always filled with water. And we will have shown you why, because the surrounding areas, right? The surrounding areas around the dam, those houses that are around the dam, the water from those houses, from those drains around those houses, all end up in the dam because the dam is lower. But then when the water tries to exit from the dam now, it doesn't end up in the drain because the drain is broken. So it ends up in the soil and then it finds a place lower down to come out, which is normally in and around these people who live lower down houses. Right? Well here, this is not dam water. You can see, well, there's a broken pipe there. Right? So, well, we have people in Wassa on the chat as well, so when they see the video, they will come and address that. Right? This is another drain here that the residents always complaining about. That there's always a constant flow of water because even if it's a dry season, and then that lower area there, if tide is full, that the water doesn't get to go to the sea. So if tide is full and the water backs up, this whole area here floods out. And these are some of the problems that these residents have been having for years now. Of course, they've said that they have spoken to their councillor on several occasions. He is aware of the problem. He is trying to resolve the issue, right? So we're here this morning to see if we can throw some extra light on the topic. We will be trying to have an issue and interview with him to find out exactly at what stage did he reach in highlighting the problem, to see if we could get this matter resolved. Thank you very much.
My name is Renison Jeffrey. This is the Workers' Rights Platform and we are broadcasting live from the Workers' Rights Network. Now, what we would have uncovered in this video here was a very serious and a threatening situation that requires the attention of the Prime Minister and even the opposition. There is an epidemic of dengue within Point Fortin that will always continue because of this problem or this situation that is taking place within Egypt village, the dam. And we here are calling on the authorities to look into this matter. Many a times we would have championed causes throughout the area of Point Fortin and by extension Trinidad and Tobago, and it would have fallen on deaf ears. And yet still, we are victims of a certain type of abuse in which at this time, in our workplace, court abuse by perpetrators that try to hush us up as to not to highlight issues that may affect their community. But let me tell you something, the people business is more important than your problem. And to you the people, you are more important than any politician in Trinidad and Tobago, because your contribution is what is paying them. And you know what we are doing here? is by internal motivation, and we'll continue to do it. Because if we then pick up ourselves and make it our business as to go and find out the issues that is affecting our villagers, our friends, and even our families in these areas. As I would have said, I would have gotten dengue, my son would have gotten dengue. And it's like, what is going on? What is going on? What the figures that we are seeing within the public domain as to how much people get dengue, that is the reported cases. Imagine for others like myself and my son, who when we find out, we would have drink the traditional medicine, purple leaf and so forth. We have a situation that is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago, in which people do not have clear information as to protect themselves. It's like everything is a secret. If there is a dengue epidemic within Trinidad and Tobago, shouldn't the people know about it? And why such information is being held back? Now, with no span that way that we had any intention to attack the government, but this is constructive criticism. What is taking place here is a serious event that requires attention on a national level. And that is what we are doing here. We are shining light in places that no media house have no intentions of going. Nobody coming down from Port of Spain and saying, boy, let me take a walk to Egypt as to find out where's it coming from. The politicians in do it, the Prime Minister in do it, and to hell, the President neither. I and Sheldon can take it upon ourselves as to go and investigate matters that is affecting our fellow villagers. So when we broadcast this information on social media or on YouTube, sometimes, not sometimes, but all the time, people be grateful. We can't be in every place at every single time or at every given opportunity, because at the end of the day, we also have our right to live. You understand? We also have our right, to provide for our families as well. And like many of you, I don't have no permanent job. So we try. So again, subscribe to our channel, be a part of this fastest growing movement. We actually have a movement. It's not it's a hoity-toity thing, and it's very small. This is just a small thing. Imagine what we could do together as a people. Because the objective here is not to shame a particular person, but it's to highlight the problem that exists, regardless to the area that it exists. So it is above feelings, it is above people and personality and government. Again, my name is Nelson Jeffrey. This is the Workers' Rights Platform. Like, share, and subscribe. Now we are coming back here with a summarized version as to what would have taken place. We would have uncovered a mosquito nest within our area, and we are calling on the relevant authorities as to look into this. Thank you, people.
So morning again. I know this is not what I follow his name, who like to go in the bush. Although I live in the bush, so as they say, perseverance is the key to success. So this morning we were able to establish why it is water down in Egypt there, right? This morning we were able to establish, right, why water down the hill there. So that down the hill there is the savannah. So down the hill there is the savannah, right? Right? And this morning we were able to establish where the water. So if you would remember in the first video, you see that blue van park up there? See that blue van park up there? That's where we would have done the first video, showing you that even during the dry season, there's always a presence of water flowing in that area. As I said, residents from the area have been complaining for years that Egypt Village has a significant abnormal amount of mosquitoes. Right? We would have tried to highlight this problem last year for the local government election when we were in the area and people would have complained. We would have tried to get the issue addressed. This weekend in particular, right, including my wife, they would have come to me while I'm trying to have my quiet time, and they would have again told me that look Point Fortin on the map for having the highest amount of dengue cases in Trinidad and Tobago. And what are we going to do about it? So this morning, I took time off of my schedule and I'm here in the bush. We would have started down there showing you the height of the bank, and the residents down there complaining that they believe that the problem is that the dam is leaking. That's why they have water ending up in their backyards and coming up under their foundation, right? And whilst doing the video, a resident and neighbor would have come to us and told us he knows the problem and why the problem exists. And he would have brought us in the bush here to show us, right? To show us. Don't come here if you don't have a tour book, if you ain't got to the bush, right? So the resident would have come to show us the overflow for the dam, right? Which is a concrete structure that was built for the oil refinery in Point Fortin. That's when we used to buy oil from Venezuela and bring it to Point Fortin to refine. They would have built this dam as a water source. Now, ever since then, no repairs have been done, but that body of water is still present because you have Warden Road, you have a whole bank. So starting from Warden Road going all the way up to New Village and coming all the way back into Egypt, that level there where the dam is the lowest point. So all the water from all those residents and all those drains end up in the dam. That is why this dam, water is always flowing out. Because all that water people is using every day, there are 3 communities there. So all the water from those 3 communities end up in the dam. And then all that water tries to exit from this spot here. The problem with this spot here is that where the water is coming out to get into the drain, the base of where the water is to flow out into the drain is broken. So the water is flowing under the drain, getting in to the land, flowing down the topography and ending up under amongst people's houses, having the whole place very wet and soggy and being a safe haven or a breeding ground for mosquitoes, and Point Fortin ending up on the dengue list. So, as I say again, the MP, the councillor and the mayor, well, people, the councillor for sure, people told me they've spoken to the councillor, we're going to find out from him, because they say that he has been trying for a while to get this problem solved. So we're going to find out from him how far he was able in getting it highlighted or resolved, or how best we could help in getting these problems fixed for our friends and our neighbors and our brothers of Point Fortin. Thank you very much.
workers' rights and human rights.
That's
Audio Jungle.